Alright everybody, well welcome to the farm. It is a beautiful Friday afternoon and I am off work early, ready to enjoy the afternoon out here on the farm and do some gardening. So I thought it might be fun to film our very first ever Grit and Grace family farm tour. I've just come off the back porch of our house and here is that beautiful Grit and Grace rose. This is a little experimental bed of onions that I tried this summer. I planted my garlic here last fall and the puppies dug it up a couple of different times. So this spring I threw down some onions and then used an old chicken coop gate to try to keep the dogs out of it, and they seem to be doing well here. At the corner of the porch here we have Grandma Grace's beautiful purple clematis vine. This thing has been here really forever, I think. And then here is our little blue clematis that Steve planted just a few weeks ago. It had one pretty little flower on it and we're waiting on it to flower again. There is Miss Maisie and Max saying hello. Walk on down here to the garden. I had Bryce map the gardens out for me one day and he called this one the windmill garden, which I think is so sweet. So we'll start with the windmill garden. In the raised bed here at the beginning, we have some lettuce. It's actually doing really well. And this is a butter crunch variety that I grew for the first time last year and Steve and I discovered we really liked. So I think I will grow it every year from here on out. First up in the garden, we have the onions. Please ignore the weeds. I had this looking so beautiful last week and then all of that rain came through. And I think it was better for the weeds than it was for the garden. We have a few strawberry plants in here. I just planted them a few weeks ago, so they're not doing much yet. We have our cabbages, which are looking really good. I'm surprised in this heat that they're doing as well as they are, but I think we might still have a chance to get something off. And we have some more cabbages and broccoli and cauliflower. These broccolis in this row are looking beautiful. I think this will be my first time of actually growing broccoli to a head and being able to harvest it. We have our peas. It's getting warm enough now, I'm not really sure if we'll get a harvest off the peas, but they are flowering and looking really good so far. This crazy little mess here is some kale that actually grew last summer, survived the winter, and is now flowering and going to seed. I've never seen it do that before, so I've just left it in the garden for this season to kind of see what it does. Here we have a whole bunch of volunteer watermelons coming up, and I'm just going to leave them and let them see what they're going to do. On the sides of this little trellis, I have loofah gourds on one side and some little personal melons growing on the other, and honestly, I cannot remember which is on which side. Here are the peppers. This little bed here is a variety of bell peppers, and I think that's all that's here, some different colored bell peppers. And then over here in front of the tomatoes, we have our sweet peppers, our pepperoncinis, and banana peppers. Then for my tomatoes, I'm trying something different this year. I am trying to grow them on cattle panel trellises instead of in the more traditional cages. So we have about 65 tomato plants put out between these panels and some in different spots around the farm. There is quite a variety. I think there are 14 different types here. Most of them I was able to start from seed this year, which is, it's been my best seed starting year ever. So I'm really excited about that. Across the driveway here, down that way, we have Steve's corn patch. He planted the really pretty yellow and white sweet corn, and it's just starting to come up. We can't wait to see what that does this year. There are more of those tomatoes. We love yellow tomatoes. I have some Kellogg breakfast tomatoes. There's a new variety we found called an orange jazz that we ordered from Baker Creek, and it's supposed to be more of a sweet, almost peachy flavor. Lots of Romas, some pear and cherry tomatoes and that sort of thing. I can't remember right now what is what, but I do have it all mapped out. I tried really hard this year to keep track of everything and make sure I knew what I had planted where. These are the zucchini. And they're a mix of the typical Black Beauty zucchini that we've always grown, and then a beautiful gray striped zucchini that we found last year that we really liked. Let's see, I don't see the horses up in the pasture. Maybe we'll find them. There's that weedy onion bed again. And we have 3 blueberry bushes here. They are each, it's like a early blossom, a middle, and a late blooming. So we really have blueberries for several weeks. This is the early one. Some of them are getting close. The later varieties are really loaded, but I think this early variety got hit just a little bit harder with the that weird cold snap that we had. Back around the corner here, this is the rainwater collection tank. All of the guttering from our house ties in out here, and we're able to pump this water out to water the gardens and the horses. And just last weekend, we tore out some bushes that were here and we put in several roses. So we have climbing roses on either side of the trellis. And then on the edges here, I have some more typical bush type roses. Here's the greenhouse. I have some flowers planted, seeds started around the bottom of the greenhouse, but nothing's really blooming yet. I've only had this a couple of weeks. It's called a green stalk, and it's something that I saw on Roots and Refuge Farm. If you don't follow them on YouTube, I highly recommend. They are wonderful. And this is a 5-tier planter, and I have herbs and lettuce and tomato plants. I even have some hens and chickens growing up there. Just a whole lot of everything, and they are doing really, really well. And you fill this top here with water, and then the water will just filter down and keep everything nice and moist like it should be. I would love to get another one of these soon and just grow strawberries in it. I think 40 strawberries in a little space like this would be absolutely wonderful. Around the corner here we have Bryce's, the start of Bryce's pumpkin garden. This is his pride and joy, his Atlantic Giant. He's hoping for at least a 400-pound pumpkin this year, but we will see. He has several that are looking pretty good. We just got them planted out last weekend with the crazy weather and everything we've been having. We've been holding off on getting those planted. And here are some of our peonies. These were also from Steve's Grandma Grace. Here on this side of the farm, we have these really pretty pinkish purple ones. And then around under the cedar trees at the front of the property, we have a whole bunch of beautiful white ones with little purple specks. Let's see, there are the horses and the Aussies. They're never far away when I'm out here working. What are you doing, Ellie? What do you think, Ellie Mae? What are you doing, Win? Hi, Hip. All right, and we've made it around to our other garden, which Bryce named the Magnolia Garden because it is near the magnolia tree. This is our large apple tree that was here when we moved in. It's looking pretty good. It is loaded with apples. And then we have a peach tree that we just planted last year, which seems to be doing pretty well. These are the potato buckets. I had posted some pictures earlier, I think last winter, where we actually built this, and the potatoes are looking really good. We've been mulching the buckets as we go with a combination of pine needles and grass clippings. This hot mess right here is my rhubarb and my asparagus. It's my second year with the asparagus, so I haven't picked any yet. There is the lovely magnolia tree. I was so sad. It bloomed early this year, and then we got that cold snap, and so the blossoms only lasted about a day. But there's always next year. That clump there is horseradish. This will be our 3rd fall on the farm, and I swear I'm going to do something with it this year. You harvested in the fall, and I haven't done that yet. The first row here in the magnolia garden, I have carrots. And then the next couple of rows we've been harvesting radishes out of for several weeks now. Then there are a few more rows of onions. And then I put the hot peppers over here. So there are some Santa Fe and some red chili peppers here. I'm really excited for the red chili peppers. They are the first ones I actually ever saved the seeds on and started my own seeds that I had saved. We have 4 different varieties of cucumbers growing. And then the bush beans. And then back here, the sweet potatoes are just starting to take off. I've planted them a couple of times, and the Aussies would follow behind me and dig them up. So I planted some more a couple of weeks ago, and they look like they're finally starting to take off. This is our newest little pear tree. We had bought 2 of them last year and we lost one, so we've just planted this one. It is still alive, although it's looking a little rough. But here is the one we planted last year, and it is looking really, really good. We got Dixie cup. One last garden space to share. Right over here near the chicken coop, we built our herb gardens. And so we have a volunteer of some sort, a pumpkin or a zucchini, I'm not really sure which, along with some parsley and some purple basil. And then there's some basil and this beautiful, beautiful variegated sage, thyme, chives, and a little bit of rosemary down there. And then this sage, along with a volunteer sunflower. And around the corner here I have one of my favorites, the lemon balm. I just love the way this smells. And then I just planted some chocolate mint. And then Bryce has his little strawberry patch. I don't really think these over here get enough sun throughout the day, so we are going to be moving those. And it's funny, the chickens, as soon as they see me over here, they're used to me weeding it or working over here, picking the herbs, and I always throw them some good things. So they are all out waiting on the good stuff to come. All right, I think that is all of our garden spaces, and thanks for letting me share them with you today.